All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. We're doing our weekly read. This one's gonna be all single issues, no digital. Pretty big fat stack. We got half Marvel, half DC. We're gonna go over it. On this one's gonna be a little different because while I was reading these, so I can remember exactly how I wanted to explain in the story, or I mean in the video about the story and what they were about, I went ahead and did a list on my phone of all of them, kind of explaining. It might not make perfect sense, but while I was writing it, it made sense at the moment. So what I'm gonna do in this story is when I go over the comic, I'm gonna read the my list of what I have here, of what I've read, and then kind of go a little further into it if I need to. So the first one we're gonna have here, I didn't write a thing, which is Legion of X issue number 6. The reason why I didn't go over this one is because I've already read this when I read Swords of X. I'm sorry, Judgment Day, wrong series. When I read Judgment Day on digital, and I read that a while back. So this issue, I had the single issue, but I didn't read it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that to the side. Don't know why I still have it out. Next, we're gonna go Legion of X issue number 7. This is where it starts the new arc right there. The artwork is amazing. The reason I read these in like an order, because usually when you get these in a paperback, they include all of these and talk about the same arc. That's what I normally do, is read the same arc in the series when I'm reading it. But these ones, I had the single issues, so I read all the single issues, and I just wanted to go over each and every one of them individually. In the future, I might, if they're all grouped up, I might just do one big summary of it. But for now, that's what we're doing. So I'm going to look at my phone, I'm gonna read this to you, and then we're gonna go over it. All right, so in Legion of X number 7, Nightcrawler has some horns, and people are noticing, but they don't know why. So they go to Sinister, and he ends up just killing them just to see if it resets it, but it doesn't. But then Nemesis figured out it's some mutant spell kind of thing going on, and he's not sure why, and that's what they're going to go into in the next series. Also, while in this series, Warlock explains a little bit about his species and how they are, but he's a little bit different, and it's because of Doug. So it was kind of like opening up to a cliffhanger of like, this is what the stories is going to be and what the arc is going to be about. We're not gonna give you the reason why. It's just explaining a little bit of how it's gonna go into. So that one I recommend reading. This whole Legion of X, I usually, the first issue 1 through 5 I wasn't the biggest fan of, but 6 was its own series, so 7 through 10 was kind of interesting. You kind of need to know it, part of the Krakoa series, because before it wasn't really part of the main story that was going on, but this is going to continue to be in a big story. So that one I recommend. After that one, it goes into Legions of X number 8, which I have the single issue right here. Mother Righteous right on the cover. Artwork looks pretty good. So we're gonna go over it real quick. Legion of X number 8. Nightcrawler, Nemesis, and Pixie go to see Angel, but they only found out that he's turned as well, just like Nightcrawler is doing, and now they are trying to find out why. They found out that someone had put a spell on them, and now they got to go find the person responsible for it with help of Black Knight, who is dealing with the fact that they are a mutant as well. So in this story, I guess in the previous story of Black Knight or a different comic, they kind of discovered that they were just basic human who was trying to defend, be a hero, but they ended up being a mutant, and he's going over that in this and freaking out from it. The one who is doing the spell on Nightcrawler and the other mutants is an old acquaintance of Nightcrawler. They don't say who it is at the end of the story. They just say, well, he's like, oh, I know who that is. Shows the person, but doesn't explain. That's where the cliffhanger is on Legion of X issue number 8. Now we go into Legion of X issue number 9. You got Nightcrawler there, and that's how he's turning it out to be with the horns and stuff like that. The artwork is amazing. Nightcrawler is one of my favorite characters, so that somebody's messing with Nightcrawler, I don't like that. But that's what we're gonna go into right now. So Legion of X issue number 9. The one doing the spell is Nightcrawler's adopted mother, who is a witch. They found out she's doing the spell because she was hired by Orchid. While that is going on, Xavier goes to see his son in the astral plane and makes it seem like he's there with good intentions. Legion isn't feeling good because of something Xavier did. But before they can find out what, some Nimron technology attacks Krakoa through the astral plane and gets into some of the mutants' minds and starts attacking fellow mutants. So what I mean by that is, while he's going there, he was like, he got a dream from Blindfold. Say, hey, come check out your son. He's not, he's different than what you think. I think you should go talk to him, but in a peace offering. Professor Xavier listens. He goes to talk to him, but while he was talking to Legion, Legion's like, oh, I'm not feeling good. Oh, feeling sick. At the end, they kind of found out, like, Professor Xavier's like, well, I had to do that because for precautions. And Blindfold's like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And before he gets to explain, a weird kind of monster comes into the astral planes, but then like skips them goes through the astral plane but skips them, goes to Krakoa, and what he does is he get into mutants' minds, and basically the same thing starts happening to them. They start turning into quote-unquote animals. Their instincts kick in, and that's what the spell is, so that's why they interact with each other. What's going on over here is also happening over here, so that's how that one ends on the cliffhanger. Now, the last issue of that arc is going to be Legion of X issue number 10. This goes into more depth of what's going on and the final outcome of it. So if you look right there, you got Nimrod fighting over some of the mutants, while Professor X is holding Legion right there in his arms. So we're gonna find out exactly that. So in this one, the spell Nightcrawler that takes over and he kills all the Archer's agents and the other mutants that were with him. His adopted mother made Nightcrawler into a monster and uses him to get a Hope Sword and leaves before more agents of Orchis show up and takes Nightcrawler. Mother Righteous shows up, takes Nightcrawler, and that ends and continues in Sins of Sinister, which I was wrong about that and ignored that note. He's actually captured by Orchids. Mother Righteous came just to check him out, but then disappears before the Orchid agents come. Going back to Xavier, so Xavier had put a mind dampener on Legion to contain his power, but it backfires when the Nimrod creature is attacking Krakoa. He reversed it by taking his power, by going into his mind, and stopping the creature and saves Legion. Some mutant breaks into the building that Nimrod has Warlock connected to Krakoa and Nimrod and them, and they stop Nimrod by destroying Warlock. What I mean by that, while this is going on, Warlock disappeared. We don't know why. Doug's not feeling good because he's getting a bad connection from Warlock, so he get helps from a couple of the other mutants. They're in this building, it's locked up. They try to go in it, but it's locked. While they break in, because of Juggernaut, they see Warlock is getting captured by Nimrod, and everything's getting taken over by Nimrod. He has, like, Krakoa made these, like, creatures that look like Nimrod, but that's because Nimrod got into Krakoa by Warlock. He kind of hacked Warlock, got into Krakoa, stuff like that. So Warlock is, like, making everything happen, which is bad. So that's what they notice when they break in and Warlock's there. But the reason that they end up stopping Nimrod by destroying Warlock. So they kill Warlock, which ended it. Basically like a virus. You cut the virus out and everything's back to normal. But Warlock was that virus now. Everyone was safe except Xarbi, which no one remembers because of his power being forgotten. So this is another guy that helped in this adventure of saving Warlock, but nobody remembers him unless they carry this special technology in their ear that would help them remember who he is. But if they don't have that in, they're like, who are you? And they're like, dude, you known me for like years, like we're friends. Anyways, while everybody was fighting all these Nimrod guys, he sneaks in the back, saves Warlock, but it causes the explosion, kills Warlock, and kills him as well. But with all the commotion, the little pieces in the ears come out of the devices to remember him. So when they're like, oh, you know, Warlock's dead, but we can definitely bring him back, so let's go bring him back. And just gotta, you know, remember everybody's safe, but in reality, Xabri, I think is how you say it, wasn't safe. He died, but nobody's gonna bring him back because nobody remembers him. So it leaves off with that as a cliffhanger, and nobody knows why. But other than that, that was the end of the Legion of X, which is pretty good. It's kind of a little taste of Nimrod, of what's going on. Unfortunately, Legion was kind of taken out, couldn't help, so Professor X had to step in and take care of business by using his powers, by going through his mind and releasing everybody and stuff like that. Now we're gonna go into Sons of X, which is another one. This is actually supposed to be like the conclusion of Legion of X, of what's going on. This is a variant artwork, but it shows Legion with everybody in his mind and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go over that one real quick as well. This one, like I said, if you get the paperback of Legion of X Volume 2, this is in there, but this was his own thing. But this is supposed to be the start of when the arc story of Before the Fall of X, which is what we're gonna get into in Kokora series now that I'm reading. So this is supposed to be like, all right, this is the beginning of that and ending of this, and like I said, it's called Sons of X. It starts with Legion going through some simulations where he faces Nimrod to try to defeat him, but he keeps failing. While this is going on, Banshee ends up in the astral planes where the spark is, but doesn't remember the last few months because Mother Righteous gave him kind of like the Ghost Rider abilities, the Spirits of Vengeance, I believe is what it's called. And he doesn't remember that because Mother Righteous gave that to him, but then took it away, or something happened at the end where he got rid of it. But while that was going on, Banshee does not remember anything. So he's kind of confused when he's on Spark. Legion goes into his mind and finds Mother Righteous, so they go and talk to her. She claims she knows how to defeat Nimrod, and all she asks in return is a thank you. So Legion thanks her. So she's kind of like, oh, you know, like a religious kind of person, like, oh, I don't need nothing, just say thanks, you know, appreciation to me. So he's like, okay, thank you. So he does that. Next, they end up going to Archer's headquarters because they are holding Nightcrawler hostage. Mother Righteous shows Nimrod why he loses on the timeline in the Sins of Sinister and confirms to him that he will lose again. So kind of just like distracting him but defeating him at the same time while something else goes on. But she only knows this because of Sins of Sinister. So if you haven't read that, I definitely recommend Sins of Sinister. It's a great story. 10 out of 10 on that one. Definitely recommend it. But like I said, you kind of need to know that for this story as well. He shuts down with this information. Legion finds Nightcrawler and tries to rescue him, but the adopted mother stops Legion, which is the one that we just went over, stops him and sends him and the others out to the ship. Meaning that they're in space. She kind of like just cuts him up, throws him out, thinks that's it. And he's like, oh, Nightcrawler's mine again. I'm going to take him back from Orchid. They did what they wanted to. I'm going to take my quote unquote son back. But while this is going on, let's see. Mother Righteous defeats her and takes Hope's sword for herself and gets the other mutants back. So she defeats her. She grabs the sword that she got from Legions of X, from Nightcrawler. She kind of just stashed it away like, this is mine now. This is what I wanted. So we're kind of like, what is your main purpose of helping everybody out? So then we're going to go from there. Let's see. They head back to Krakoa and restore everyone that was under the spell except Nightcrawler. He needs the sword to be back to normal, but Mother Righteous refuses to give it up because that's what she was after all along. Legion fights and defeats Mother Righteous by clearing out the spark of all mutants and takes the sword from her. The reason for that is because, like I said, Spark's supposed to be like a religious place, astral plane kind of thing. Without that place, she kind of loses a little bit of her power. She still has power because she has people have faith in her. So when they thank her, that's saying like a faithful thing. That's why she only claims like, all I want is thanks, because it powers her up. It makes her more stronger. So that's why they did that. You see, Legion got away and disappears, and nobody knows where. At the end of the story, they're kind of like, oh, he disappears and I can't find him. Like, nobody knows where he's at. Nightcrawler is brought back to life, but tells Scott, hold on, I'm missing something. Oh, she ends up exploding in anger and kills everyone near her, including Nightcrawler. Legion got away and disappears where Mother Righteous can't find him. Nightcrawler is brought back to life, but tells Scott, which is Cyclops, that he's leaving Krakoa because the people are going to be after him after what he did when he was under the spell, and that he doesn't want to put Krakoa in danger. So when he was under the spell, when he was all becoming a monster and didn't know what was going on, he was under Orchid's spell, and what they were doing is having them kill like government head honchos or priests or popes, stuff like that, from the people that don't recognize Krakoa as a city, who are against Krakoa. So it just looks bad because they would see that it was him doing it. They wouldn't hide him doing it. He would just show up, kill him, and kind of just leave. And people are like, what the heck is going on? So because of that, he knows all these government people, and people are going to be mad. Because he's from Krakoa, they're going to go after him. But he's like, it'll be better safe than sorry if I'm just not here at all. So that's why he disappears. But he ends up having the Sword of Hope and leaves Krakoa for now, and that's how it ends. So when he was about to leave, he pulled out the sword a little bit. It shows that Legion gave him the sword before everything happened. So because that's supposed to be his hope from his body, like get him back to normal basically. So that's how that one ends. So it kind of leaves all the cliffhanger on there. Not sure exactly where it's going to go from there. I don't know. It's going to be important later where Nightcrawler is going to come back, but it shows it's going to continue onto the Uncanny Spider-Man, which is supposed to be Nightcrawler becoming Spider-Man somehow. Haven't read it. I'm excited to read it. But that's the end of that. Now, I know this video is going long, and I appreciate you guys watching. We're going into some DCs. We got 4 DCs that we read, that we got over the week. A new comic book day. So we're going to start off with Catwoman issue number 69. Amazing artwork. I think it looked fantastic. This one was a little confusing when reading. I had to reread it twice to kind of understand it, just because this is issue 69. I know you're supposed to be able to jump in right away with these, but I mean, a little backstory you probably would help you. I didn't have the backstory, so I had to reread it. So let me see what I put. So my story for it is that Selena, which is Catwoman, wakes up in a safe house apartment that's close to hers. She wakes up to the police radio, some cops stalking out her apartment. She was at a ball the night before, and someone tried to shoot her while she was talking to someone into politics. The gentleman dies and she runs and gets away, but now they blame her for the shooting and death of 7 other people, and now they're after her. She gets in her costume and breaks into her apartment while someone else is also in her apartment breaking in and looking for her. She defeats him, gets away with what she went there for, and leaves town. She messages an old contact to meet up in Berlin, and when she arrives, whoever the people after her were found her and are going after her. The end. So what it means is somebody broke in because whoever was going after her at the party knew she got away, but they ended up blaming her on the news, so cops were kind of already there. So of course they're like, oh, we got to break into her apartment. She already knew not to go back to her apartment because the cops were staking it out. The people after her were probably there. So she breaks into her own apartment, finds the guy, takes him out, and they realize, oh, he's not coming back. She took him out. We got to find him. So they're doing a bunch of surveillance, and she's like, I need to leave town. And that's kind of how it ends. Leaves on a cliffhanger. Like, why did she go to Berlin? Who is this contact that she's trying to contact? And then at the end, like I said, when she gets off a train in Berlin, camera catches her. The people that are after her, which if I remember right, you don't know who it is. They're like, oh, we found you. Now everybody go to Berlin. Like, oh, the radio or whatever, found her, go to Berlin, take her out. And that's where it ends. So it lives on a big cliffhanger, so it makes you want to read issue 70 to see exactly what's going on. That one I recommend, 5 out of 5. Catwoman's a great character. I was a little confused, like I said, I had to reread it twice, but after I did, it kind of made more sense after rereading it. A great story overall. Next one we go into is Wonder Woman issue number 14. This one really confused me at first through the first half of the comic, but when you kept reading, it kind of like made sense because it kept jumping everywhere. But artwork looks amazing. This one I also recommend, 5 out of 5. I was just gonna say it now, the rest of these comics are 5 out of 5. Definitely recommend to read. Wonder Woman's amazing, and this is what I got for it, which is issue number 14. The story goes through multiple days, but the story is that a group of bad people were after Wonder Woman, and they knew the only way to get her is through the love of her life. His name is Trevor. They end up shooting Trevor and waited for Wonder Woman to find out and attack them so they can try to take her out. But instead, Wonder Woman went missing and went on a spiritual journey to talk to Trevor in the afterlife and to say goodbye to him before he went to the afterlife. He mentioned his grandmother and that he wanted to talk to her before it goes, but it changes scenes before we get to see if he talks to her or not. So it kind of just cuts off like, oh, thank you for seeing me in the afterlife. I miss you. I love you. Move on. Real quick while I have you, my grandmother's supposed to be here. I want to talk to her, and she like shows like getting on a boat, and then it kind of just cuts scene. So it's kind of weird on that one. So you're kind of like, that was weird, but what is that supposed to mean? So now after it cuts to Wonder Woman making a baby out of a sand and clay. Takes a strand of her hair and prays to the gods for them to give the baby life, and named her after Trevor's grandmother. So she did the spiritual thing, was ready to go back to the real world. She's like, you know what, real quick. She's on, I believe, the beaches of the Amazon where she's from. The island that she's from. She kind of clays while she's talking to herself. I did this, and I'm gonna miss him, this and that. He's making it. And then she takes a strand of her hair, splits it into two, puts it like into the baby's heart. And I guess it's magical. And she's praying to the guys, please do me a favor. I don't ask you guys for nothing, but if you can do something for me, bring this baby to life. And I want to name her this name, which is Trevor's grandmother's name. So she took it as like, I'm going to continue your legacy by doing this for you, because this is what you had wanted if we ever had kids. So that's what we're going to do. And then it ends there. So I'm assuming in the next series or the next issue, it's going to talk about that. And why she's doing that and what she wants from it and stuff like that. So great series overall. I can't wait to read the next issue, issue 15, which will be out a little bit later. I got last 2 issues. Next one's gonna be Green Lantern issue number 16, which looks fantastic. Artwork looks amazing. They all look amazing. I'm excited for Green Lantern, one of my favorite characters, so I was excited to read this one. So this issue continues from Green Lantern Civil Corps, where they were dealing with a guy named Tharos, which I don't know if I read that right, so if I didn't, I'm sorry. In the story, he weaponized the Green Lantern Corps. Now this continues as a group of Green Lanterns stopped him and killed him, so they thought. They were on a mission to stop people called Dorlans who were working with Tharos, and doing so they realized that they needed more help, so they went on a mission to save more Green Lanterns to help them with stopping the Dorlans. In the story, they call them the Rebellions of Green Lanterns, which is just a couple of Green Lantern characters who all work together, kind of like a Justice League of their own. They're like Green Lanterns, but they work together on Earth or other planets, so it's pretty cool. So they were captured, I guess, from a previous story, so they went to go save them, and they do that. At the end, it cuts to Tharos, who is supposed to be dead, but instead the issue refers to him as not being dead, but being reborn. So while this is all going on, they kind of cut back to where they thought they killed him. He's floating in space, and I guess they kind of zoom in on him and saying, they thought he was dead, but in reality, he's just being reborn. And boom, it cuts there. There's more. I mean, that was a short summary of the comic, because then the whole thing, they're just fighting creatures while they're going to this place. Some of it's not major key points that at least that I know of. They're just kind of like, oh, we're here, we're defeating these creatures, oh, we saved our people, and which is kind of like say what you did. So if you guys want to read more into that, I definitely recommend it. It was a great series, can't wait for the next one. Now the last issue that we read, I think is one of my favorites, was Titans issue number 16. The artwork on there again looks amazing. I don't know why I'm saying, but looks fantastic. The story on this was great. Not really much action in this one, but towards the end there was action. I'm gonna go over it here. The issue starts with Titans of a new it starts with the Titans at the new Justice League headquarters, and them talking about being part of the Justice League, but what does it mean for the Titans? They're like, hey, if we're part of the Justice League now, does that mean the Titans is over? And they're like, no, the Titans are still the Titans. You guys do your own thing, but we're all a big group. So if any of us need help, or if you guys need help, we all work together. So which is pretty cool. And I got right here, they explain that the Titans are still at the Titans and they can do whatever they're doing before, but will be part of the Justice League when needed. While discussing this, Beast Boy finds a creature who looks scared, so he transforms into the creature to comfort him, but ends up making it mad and it goes crazy. He didn't like it. I guess they were territorial creatures, so he freaks out. He's like, oh, you're in my spot now, homie. So they start like going at it, and he's like, I don't know what I did, but he's going crazy. The Titans try to calm it down, and Arsenal comes in and stops the creature and takes credit for saving the day. He's like, yeah, I had to save the day again. You know, that's what I do. You know, the Titans always needing me. And that's just how he is. He's a cocky guy. While this is going on, after that goes on, Wally West, who is the Flash at the moment, he's taking over because I guess Barry Allen is powerless. So he's kind of like, oh, you know, I'm the Flash, but I'm gonna help out in a bigger way, which I'm sure we're gonna find out in the future Flash issues that are coming out. It says Wally West tells the Titans that he wants to step down from the Titans and focus on being the Justice League to help Barry Allen. The Titans head back to the tower with Donna, who I didn't know who this Donna character is. To me, it seems like it's kind of like Wonder Woman's sidekick. I would have to read more previous Wonder Woman stuff to know who she is, because she's dressed up kind of like Wonder Woman, but in all black with the Wonder Woman emblem. Like, you know how like all these Titan characters were people's sidekick, like Nightwing was Robin, it was Batman's sidekick, Cyborg. You know, these are all just like sidekicks who became their own things. So I think Donna was a sidekick, but she became part of them. It says the Titans head back to the tower with Donna, and something throws Donna off when they arrive. She brushes it off and they continue to the tower. In the tower, Nightwing explains to the team that he also is taking a break from the Titans and asks Donna to take charge for now. The team agrees with the decision, but Arsenal seems off. When asked if he's okay, he brings back old memories that are haunting him. Then same happens to Starfire and Raven. Like, he's like, something's off, just like how it happened to Donna. And right after, Starfire's like, yeah, I'm not feeling good too. And Raven's like, oh, you know, not feeling good. So they're off. Then an enemy Clock King comes in, and he's the reason they fell off. All the Titans are taken out, and Donna's the only one who's still standing and is waiting to fight for her brand new team, or wanting to fight for her brand new team she's in charge of. So she was like, hey, I just took this leadership. I wasn't sure about it in the first place, but this is my part. Everybody's down. I need to step up. So she's like, you're not going to, you know, we're not going down without a fight. If you want to take this team on, you got to go through me, kind of thing. And then it ends. So we're off on a cliffhanger. We're supposed to see what's going to happen in the next issue. So all these were great. Sorry for the long video. I know it's a very long video. But it's great. Big stack that we had. I enjoyed reading these. If you guys read anything during the week, let me know what you guys read. If you read any of these that I've read, let me know what you thought about it as well. If I didn't explain any of these right, it was kind of confusing. I'm sorry. I was trying something new. If you guys don't like it like this, if you guys just like a small preview without spoilers of what the story is about, let me know in the comments below as well. If you guys wanted to just do like small, it's about kind of like this, but I'm not gonna go into spoilers, you know. So let me know in the comments below. Like the video. If you guys know people who are like in the comic books as well, share the video. It'd mean a lot to me. If you're not subscribed already, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.